Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wave 2, Cyclops. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are kicking off X-Men 97 Wave 2 with the X-Men's fearless leader. It is of course Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. Now, I never actually reviewed the first wave of X-Men 97 figures, but never fear, I do have them all for some comparisons today, because like you, I'm excited for the return of the Disney Plus X-Men show on March 20th. So it's not too long away. We are literally in the month of the X-Men's return. So we have the figures here to get us hyped up. So this is the Cyclops in the Jim Lee costume that we all wanted, as it is that great version on the new Vulcan body, but without the cel shading, which I know a few people are not fans of, sort of myself including, to be honest. We do get that interchangeable head, so we can do his blast effect as well, a couple of interchangeable hands, but it always looks great on those card backs as well. Nothing nostalgic about it, but it is still nice to see, and I do like the idea of maybe getting a third set as well. Where's Beast and Jubilee? Come on now. But anyway, I digress. Let's take a look at Cyclops and get him open. So there he is in the packaging. It looks just like we remember him from the show in that Jim Lee gear. There he is on the back of the box as well, with the other 5 figures in this wave of 6. I have a couple of them, so expect some more reviews on the channel, but let's get this one open and take a closer look, and of course do plenty of comparisons. So here we have Cyclops out of the packaging with all of his accessories on the table, and it is nice to see a little assortment here. We get an interchangeable head, and then we get a blast effect that represents his power set pretty well in plastic, all considering, and then we get an assortment of hands. We get 2 sets, 2 sort of open palm expressive, a set of fists, and then we get that extra sort of touching his visor hand for that trademark Cyclops pose. So we will take a look at all of that, but I did want to just start off the video by saying what I've already said. It's exactly the same figure that we got in the VHS lineup. It is that new Cyclops sort of adjusted Vulcan mold where all of his sort of straps are tooled in there, but now it is without cel shading, and it has a more accurate head to represent the source material, which is in this occasion is the animated show. So I'll throw up as quick side by side and let them spin around for a second so you can see for yourself. But yes, it is that very nice Vulcan body, completely pinless. All the straps are tooled in, and then we have it without cel shading now, and the head sculpts will be interchangeable, and we will try a head swap, but they are completely different. Even the skin tone's different, the hair sculpt's different, the head is just completely new to better represent what we see on the animated show. There is also some deco details on the animated version, which I will point out on the strap, especially on the X on the harness. But yes, we will do a closer look at their head sculpt. But first, as they're spinning, let me just have a quick word from our friends at Legendsverse.
Let me introduce you to legendsverse.com, a place all Marvel Legends collectors are going to want to know about. If you are looking for an easy way to keep track of your collection, what figures you have, and create wish lists, then Legendsverse can do all of this and so much more. It's a comprehensive Marvel Legends database that, once you have added your collection, gives you stats like how many figures you own, how many waves and builder figures you have completed, and how much your collection is worth right now. Organize your collection in teams, upload photos of each figure, look at price guides, and share your collection with friends by showcasing your own profile. Go and sign up and see for yourself. Legendsverse.com.
If you collect Marvel Legends, you should absolutely check out Legendsverse. All the links in the video description. Now let's take a closer look at this brand new sculpted Cyclops head to better represent what we see on this new stylized version of the X-Men that is coming to Disney Plus. And now, considering we have a trailer, we can literally do a straight up side by side. So here we have a screen grab of Cyclops from that trailer, and you can see the Legends team have done a pretty good job, especially down to the placement of the parting in the hair sculpt itself. Now the flesh tone's a little bit washed out, but I do like that sort of cheeky smile he has. That's a very cocky sort of I got Jean Grey pregnant top a smile, so we shall forgive him. But the head is actually higher on the ball peg compared to the previous Cyclops. So if I bring in a side by side, you can see how the difference in the flesh tone is, and also the hair sculpt's completely different. As I said, it is a completely different head sculpt, but that previous VHS Cyclops head sculpt never had cell shading. So if you wanted to do a head swap to have a completely kit-bashed, non-cell shaded version of Cyclops, again, it's your collection, your preference. You can do that as the head pops straight on that body, no problem at all. Maybe it did have a bit of cell shading, but it was subtle, you can make it work. Let's take out this alternative head that we have gotten with Cyclops. Now, of course, you can see the big gap in his visor, which is for the blast effect, but I did just want to show you that the expression is different and more appropriate for him blasting his ruby quartz, but the hair sculpt is exactly the same with that same sort of washed out flesh tone as well. So let's actually plug in the ruby quartz here. So you can see the gap. It would have been nice to have a piece to plug in there so you could use it as a straight up alternative expression, but I guess the blast effect is a nice touch. So it's not the first time we have got this in Legends form. We did get it with another card back Cyclops. It was the X Factor version, which I will get out for comparison. But there we go. The visor plugs in the eyes and it does fit in very flushly and work really well. Like, you cannot deny this isn't a great representation of Cyclops's sort of effects and power set. And that's always great in Legends form, when you can display a character on the shelf representing his power set in plastic. Like, bravo, they have done a good job here. Very, very nicely done. Now, let's get the tape measure out and see if I can actually measure the length of this. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so forgive me. But you can see it is about 4 inches in length, you can see, to the end of the point. So it does stick out pretty good. And again, if you swap out his hand for that better posed hand, you can get his hand up there, and it can work really well to take out some Sentinels. So yeah, I think they've done a good job. And it's the first time we have gotten this effect piece on the Jim Lee body as well, which I know is a lot of people's favourite, including mine. So I'm happy to have the alternative for the display here. So yeah, I think they've done a good job. Now, his other effect pieces, or his other accessories, I should say, are just hands. A set of oversized expressive hands. Now, I think these are the same that we have been getting with all the Vulcan bodies, but they do the trick. A set of fisted hands, so we can get into some fisticuffs or just for standard poses. I think fisted hands should come with all Legends as standard. And then, of course, you get that one alternative hand, which is the hand that is sort of him pressing the button on his visor, which is a trademark pose for Cyclops from all forms of media. That has been referred to as the Jean Grey pleasing hand in the past, but that's a little bit crude and I apologize. And there we have it, appropriately posed with the new blast effects, which work really well. Like, you cannot deny that is a great representation of Cyclops' power set in plastic for our Marvel Legends display. So I'm sure people will appreciate that. So let's pretend that you haven't seen the VHS Cyclops and this is the first time you are seeing this body. So let's point out the differences and the articulation. First up, his harness is actually tooled onto the torso and it gives you the illusion that it's attached here at the ab crunch. But if you zoom in, you can see that they're actually a separate piece and it does not hinder the crunch at the abs at all. So you still get a great range without breaking up the character design, which is a nice touch. That same thing happens at the waist with all those pouches going all the way around. You get the X logo there, and then you get the swivel at the waist, very carefully hidden above the trunks. I've also already pointed out that the harness X is a little bit different on this version compared to the previous, as you now get those additional lines on the X. Moving down past the trunks, you get these thigh sort of straps that carefully hide the actual thigh swivel, which is a nice touch when they can hide the articulation points in the character design. That same thing happens again in the boots, as the straps are now keyed in, and then you get the boot swivel hidden under there. Nicely done. As you can notice as well, double jointed pinless knees, double jointed pinless elbows. The shoulders will go all the way up past 90, bicep swivel, nice double jointed pinless elbows. Again, there's those double jointed pinless knees. Great range. Definitely the amount of range you're going to need for Cyclops. Legs go out about that far forward. And then the head as well, because it's sitting a little bit higher on the ball joint, can actually go all the way back. So we can definitely shoot those Sentinels in the face with his blast. So honestly, a great range and a great looking figure. A solid representation of Cyclops. And talking representations of Cyclops, here we have 3 of the Jim Lee versions. So we have the VHS version here, which, as I've mentioned, same body but without cell shading, subtle differences. And then we have the OG sort of modern era version of Cyclops, which maybe was in the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave, but it's been a long time now. Now, this was very sought after for the longest time, but I do think his predecessors are going to beat him to the punch in regards to the best representation of Cyclops. But it held its own for a while, but the outdated sort of Bucky Cat body, all of these straps that would just fall down, like I had to glue them. Look at that. That was so frustrating. So yeah, that would annoy me. But let me get that out of the way, because we did also have this version, which is the Love Triangle 3-pack version, which I'll use on my display for a more casual Scott Summers, where he's got the glasses on rather than the full-on visor. And if you wanted to make a sort of jacketed version of this new VHS, sort of X-Men 97, then you should be able to use the version of Morph that was in the VHS line that came with a jacket. Now, the jacket does have some subtle cell shading, but you could swap out the arms and put the jacket on this guy and have your jacketed Cyclops, but with the updated Vulcan body. So you have your options, and we need a new one, absolutely, with the digital face printing tech. But if you wanted to use some of the previous Scott Summers head sculpts, then yes, you can plug it on the Vulcan body, but it does sit a little high on the peg, revealing the joint. But you can make it work for pictures at least. Here we have a couple more incarnations of Cyclops throughout the eras in different costumes. I do think this one that came with the Dark Phoenix 2-pack is very sought after, and I think we are worthy of an upgrade of that particular character design very, very soon. Then we have the House of X version that we got not too long ago, and then this is the X Factor version that shares that same blast effect piece that came on an orange retro card itself. So if I show you a side-by-side of the two blast effects, you can see that they are exactly the same, but different reds. The new one is just slightly a bit brighter, but it is still the second time we have seen this blast effect, but it works for Cyclops. And of course, this is what you want to see. Here we have Cyclops compared to some of the other X-Men 97 figures. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Jean yet, who comes in the second wave. But here we have Gambit, Rogue, Wolverine, and Storm. And you cannot deny these look great together. And here we have the other two figures from Wave 1 with Bishop and Magneto. And just to see how this Cyclops would go in other places in your collection, here we have both Jean Grey and Wolverine from the VHS set. But you don't want this as an animated Cyclops. You want this to represent this comic version of Cyclops. How does it fit with your comic figures? Well, here we have a couple with Jean Grey and Wolverine again. And as you can see, he will seamlessly fit into a comic display. Even with that stylized head sculpt, you can definitely make it work. But it's your display, your rules. I nearly forgot about this astonishing X-Men Cyclops that we only got last year, and there we have the old school astonishing X-Men Beast, which is obviously in need of an upgrade. But I'll tell you what we need for sure. We need confirmation of the X-Men 97 Wave 3 on the card backs, so we can get Beast and Jubilee, so we can complete that core 8 X-Men characters in the same format for the first time in Marvel Legends. Please, Hasbro. And let's wrap up with some of the Who crew. So here we have Frogman, Tigra, and Jocasta, who is still reading out comments from the previous Marvel Legend review, even though in this case we have to go back to last year. Who have you picked today?
Tony Crossland 784 says, Happy New Year to you, too. Great reviews.
When is it too late to stop saying Happy New Year? Because technically, this is my first review of 2024. Good job it's only March. I hope you miss me, because here we have Captain Britain and Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Cyclops. Now, whether you want an animated version of Cyclops in your display or not, I don't think this matters, as this is the best representation of Jim Lee era Cyclops in plastic for your displays that will fit in seamlessly in your comic collection as well. At least I think this is an iconic uniform. It is my mind's eye for Cyclops, and I think this is the best we have in Marvel Legends so far. I'm glad we got a couple of interchangeable hands to mix up the posing, that interchangeable head with the blast effect, which you cannot deny is a solid representation of his power set for our display. So I'm very happy with this. It just makes me look forward to completing the whole team that little bit more. I'm just waiting for Beast and Jubilee to be confirmed for Wave 3. If Wave 3 is even a thing, I hope it is. I'm going to go on about it until it is brought to existence. You let me know what you think in the comments below, as always. And if you like Marvel Legends and you've missed me, then please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell. Don't miss out on a video. And please hit that join button. Become a channel member. Either show some love or join the members club. Much, much appreciated. Go and check out Legends Verse. I will put all the links in the description below. Thanks again for sponsoring the video. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. Until then, my name is Dan W, and I will, of course, see you on the next one.